Welcome back, everybody. Well, today's a great day because you're going to learn how to play Lodi by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and you'll learn it just how you hear it on the record. This is a great little fun tune. This should be a really short lesson, but a lot of people are asking me about this song, and I want to dive into it because there is actually a little bit of nuance going on in here that I wanted to talk about. So we'll talk about what's happening with the rhythm guitars, and also the great little tasty leads that John Forgerty plays throughout. All right, well, if you haven't done so already and you love this kind of stuff, please jump down and click subscribe and ring the bell, because the bell will let you know every time I drop new content, which I do every single week. All my video lessons have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I appreciate that. There's thanks, which is just like throwing a tip in the tip jar right below. Or you can join my Patreon page where members enjoy chord charts and tabs and exclusive content over there. All the links are in the description below. Check it out. Okay, so Lodi. So this is another one of those great Creedence tunes where they have this thing going on where they have two different guitars tuned two different ways. And I've talked about this in a couple other videos, you know, Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising. There's been some others. Yeah, you've got John Forgerty, who gets his Les Paul custom and he tunes it down to, well, he tunes it down a step. So I call it D standard. I don't know what's the right way to call it, but your low note is a D, right? So you just take every note in a normal standard tuned guitar and you tune it down a whole step. So this is D, this is G, this is C, this is F, this is A, and this is D. It works a lot better, or your guitar tends to handle it if you have sort of heavier gauge strings on it, at least 10s. I play 9s. Seems to be holding okay. But anyway, for John Forgerty's parts, that's sort of the magic. It's the combination between him playing that and his brother Tom Forgerty playing on a regular standard tuned guitar. They play the same pitched notes and chords, but they harmonize with each other because the strings aren't actually identical because of the tuning, okay? But we're gonna focus on John's part because I think that's the most sort of interesting part. Okay, so like I said, I believe he's playing a Les Paul custom. I don't have a custom, but this is my standard. I think it sounds best when it's in the middle position for this song to sound like the record. Clean. I've got a little bit of low mid boost going on. Little bit. I'll put my signal chain in the description below. You can check that out. Okay, so this song, let's talk about the chords first. So the song opens in B flat. I've got my guitar tuned down to the John Forgerty style. So I'm going to be making different shapes. But the chord is a B flat, but I'm going to do a C shape to get my B flat. The next one is a E flat, which is a F shape. Tell you what, I'm going to give you time to tune down your guitar like me, and I'm just going to call out the shapes because it's easy like that, right? Okay, C, F, C, there's an A minor, F and G. Those are all the chords. C, A minor, F, and G. So the way the verses go, those chord patterns is C, F to C. A minor, F, G, C, down to A minor, F, back to C. Then it's C, G, F, back to C. So each one of those lines in the verse is sort of a different combination of those chords. It's really interesting. So C, F, and G, C, F, and C. C, A minor, F, and G. Then it's C, A minor, F to C. Then C, G, F, C. Kind of clever. The song later goes into a key change, and it does the exact same patterns, but it's up a step. So in the true pitch, it moves from B flat to C. On the shapes that we're in right here, you're going to move from a C bass shape to a D shape. So that is actually a C pitched chord now when you do the D. And then the pattern is the same. And that's really it for the verses. And the other important is the sort of Creedence strum. One, I do it as up, down, up, pause, mute. Just like Proud Mary. And probably 9 gazillion other CCR songs, right? But the same sort of strum pattern. Okay, but that's sort of in terms of chords, that's it. During those verses, there's a little lead that happens throughout when you resolve back to the home chord. One of those things. Is one place you can play it, and it's sort of easy if you're right in that position. You can also play it based off of this C bass position. But it sounds more like it's the open strings to me. I think that's an overdub that he flies in there. And then when it modulates up to your D shape, it's the same thing, just 2 frets up. Right? All right, but let's talk about so that's all the rhythm, but let's talk about the riffs, like the actual sort of lead riffs, which I think there's a little bit of nuance to that. I listened to this and watched Fogerty play it on video. And it's very interesting. The little parts themselves are not really that difficult, but there's one little part where you got to use your pinky, or I see him using his pinky to really get all of the strings that he's hitting. And I didn't realize that he was doing that. Okay, well, I'm going to play sort of the main riff and then break it down on what's happening there. But it's like this. So there's sort of an A and a B part of it. But it's all sort of in that Keith Richards-ish zone. But you'll see over my shoulder what the chord fingerings are, right? But you're sort of basing it, again, I'm here on the 5th fret, and everything is going to almost everything is going to happen on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Almost everything happens on there. Every little bit you're going to sneak in something on the 5th string. But you're going to just bar right across here on 5. So notice I got 3 strings going on. And I'm going to move from this C triad to this C triad. But here's where I was talking about where you need your pinky, because the way that you're fingering and the way Fogerty is fingering it is this way. He's laying these two fingers on, and he's doing a clean slide up to get to this position with the C, and he's grabbing that note. And you normally want to sort of switch your fingers to go to that, but he doesn't. Lands the pinky on there. So that was new. So that's a new sort of motor skill memory thing for me, which is great. All right. You can be really pronounced about it on the third and the second string on the slides. Which I think he tends to go back and forth on a little bit. And then the next part is right, so now we're getting into Keith Richards. And that's the signal to go into the riff again. Does the exact same thing again. And then this time it's so a little bit different on the way down. So that's the whole sort of figure of the lead that's played throughout the song. The very intro is sort of the second half of that. So the song sort of comes in, like maybe they played that whole thing on the intro, but they just edited the second half to come in. But you know, the second half is and they're into the song. So, but anyway, but that's the whole sort of figure there. As long as you're in the B flat key or the C-ish position. Then when you get to there's a key change that happens, and it moves, like I said, from the C position to the D position if you're tuned down, but in true pitch, you're moving from B flat to C. Okay, and how you get into that key change is at the end of the verse. Stuck in a Lodi again. Okay, so what you're doing there is you're up here on 12. Right? So it's sort of like if you're in this tuning, you're building off of a G major to a D major. And then you're going to just go to your regular, I guess it's an A shape, like a bar chord, and you're going to suspended. You're going to suspend 4 and release. And then end on your D, which is actually a C. Confused yet? And then you go into your key change verse. And I can't really tell if he plays a cowboy D or a bar chord D. Doesn't matter. It'll both sound great. So yeah, so everything else, at the outro, it's the exact same solo riff that we learned. We're just sliding up 2 frets from where we were. Repeats that throughout the fade out, and it doesn't do the second half of it. All day long. So that is Lodi. And the other thing too, you kind of, this is one where If you really wanted to get that sound, you know, and have the combo guitars, if you're playing that live, do it, like do it. But if you don't, this also sounds great, and you can do all of those parts in standard tuning. You do not have to retune your guitar, because all of those, you know, all of those riffs that we were learning, you know, we were learning it at the C shape here. Well, you can do that from the B flat position. Just slide everything down 2 frets from what you learned here today, and it all works. It's all great. So, but I wanted you to hear it in the sort of true pitch of what he was doing on the record, but I'll stop rambling now. Okay, well, I hope you learned something new. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if you like this kind of thing, please jump down and click subscribe and ring the bell. It'll let you know when I drop new content, which I do every week. And yeah, so let me know if there's another song you want me to take on and do another lesson like this. And until next week, take care, everybody.